That's how this movie opens. A cameraman zooming in while someone's face gets ventilated. This in Diary of the Dead, if it bleeds, it leads. What's up, freaks? Welcome to The Laughing Dead, your Outbreak headquarters for the freshly reanimated. I'm your host, Ethan, and tonight we're digging up a zombie flick that asks what's worse, walking corpses or the people desperate to catch them on video?
This viral video stuff is stupid.
So whether you're a wizened old crow, rife with horror experience, or just a baby chick barely learning how to fly, strap on in, because we're getting into it. Diary of the Dead was released in 2007. It had a limited theatrical run, but most of the marketing muscle was aimed squarely at the DVD release. With a lean $2.7 million budget, this was one of those films where the studio didn't need a smash hit. They just needed Romero's name on the box.
I don't fall for that shit anymore.
Written and directed by the man himself, George A. Romero. This movie tries to jump on the found footage train, but leaves its bags on the platform. So with no further introduction, The Laughing Dead is proud to present Diary of the Dead. The movie opens with a television news crew reporting from the scene of a tragic family annihilation. Police are on scene, tensions are high, and then right on cue, the recently deceased decide they're not quite ready for the great beyond.
Hey, I thought they were dead.
Jeez, lady, don't sound so disappointed. The cops do what they do best.
I started blasting. Bang!
Wow.
Bang!
They open fire before asking any questions. But just like my first bachelor party, they're only serving body shots. And the heartless reporter? Well, she loses her face in a moment of instant karma. And right out of the gate, you can feel what Romero is going for. This isn't just a zombie outbreak. This is a media sensation. We're not watching the end of the world. We're watching coverage of the end of the world. And here's my first problem. There's no way this film is meant to cleanly exist in the established Of the Dead universe. There's no previous zombie knowledge, no references to past outbreaks, and no sense that society has already gone through collapse decades earlier. It plays out like the first outbreak, which means it behaves like a reboot, but refuses to call itself one.
Oh, denial. Denial!
And that inconsistency, well, it sticks out like a sore thumb. We'll circle back to it later. Next, we find ourselves with a group of film students in the woods, shooting a low-budget mummy movie. And here we meet our protagonist, or at least the guy holding the camera. Jason is obsessed with authenticity. He wants better screening, more realism. He's the type of filmmaker who would absolutely yell again during an actual emergency. When news of the outbreak reaches him, Jason doesn't ditch the camera, he doubles down, mistaking the fall of humanity for his first big break. The cast splits up. Rich boy Ridley peels out in his Beamer, and the rest pile into an RV headed for a college dorm. They arrive at a trash and deserted women's dormitory, which I guess is supposed to imply panic and evacuation, but in my experience, that's usually how the girls' dorms look. They're tiptoeing around looking for Debbie, but instead they find this cheeky looter guy.
What's the guy with the video camera doing in the women's dorm, huh?
The giggle as he runs off. Priceless, man. Highlight of the film. They track down Deb and hit the road 8 deep to get her to her parents' house. I guess they didn't have much else to do. It's not like the world is ending or something. Either way, the gang's all here. The bitchy girl, the emotional girl, you got the nerd, the preppy guy, girlfriend included, the drunk professor, some douche named Tony, and of course our fearless cameraman, Jason. It's a crowded RV. They're ripping down the highway when they approach an accident blocking the road. Of course it's crawling with zombies. Mary guns it like a boss, running down several of the dead to make the escape. And I'm like, hell yeah, Mary's a beast. But then Jason's all in her bubble.
Mary, how do you feel about what just happened?
Not great. Turns out she feels pretty bad. And since she's not half as good with a gun as she is with a Winnebago, she survives the blast and the group races to a hospital. When they arrive, they finally begin to understand the scale of this disaster. The hospital is deserted, spare a few walkers, and there's no help coming. After a few lackluster zombie kills, Mary kicks the bucket and has to be put down like a dog. On the way out the door, Gordo gets bitten and suddenly our nerd's balls drop. He goes all out on the zombie that bit his bud. These should be some of the highlight kills, but because the movie never really builds these characters beyond archetypes, and there's entirely too damn many of them, the deaths feel procedural instead of any type of tragic. It's event after event, a loss without weight. Back on the road, new footage continues interrupting the narrative. Amateur uploads, people filming their own tragedy. The movie keeps cutting to screens within screens, reminding us that the apocalypse isn't just happening, it's being curated. The idea seems solid, but the constant newsreel interruptions fracture the momentum. The movie never fully picks a lane. The RV breaks down suddenly, and the survivors stop to investigate. And we're introduced to the coolest damn character in the whole movie. This crazy Amish bastard right here. Samuel may be deaf, but he's got a fistful of dynamite and a heart of gold. He lends his barn, his tools, and he pays for his generosity with his life. Turns out dynamite is way overrated, it's just too loud. The group is on the road once again, but that busted fuel line let all their gas leak out. And while they're planning for their refuel, bam, out jumps a black guy with a gun.
Put the gun down.
Don't look at me like that, I didn't write this shit. After a quick speech about taking the power back,
Because everybody else left.
the group is once again saved by the kindness of strangers. Full resupply, internet access, and the world's fastest edit and upload.
72,000 hits.
Which is ironic because for a movie criticizing media obsession, sure moves fast when it hits that sweet, sweet Wi-Fi. They aren't safe for long though. Homie drops dead from a heart attack and reanimates into this Debo-looking mofo right here, stumbling around searching for a bite to eat.
What you got, my
Brains.
homie?
After a spirited game of tag, Tony busts a jar of acid on his dome, offering one of the coolest kills in the movie. His skull melts down to the brain pan and the muck leaks right out. Genuinely solid effect. After another pointless driving scene, we finally make it to Debbie's parents' house. And here's a shocker for you folks. They're all zombies. I know, I didn't see it coming either. So the survivors bounce and head to Ridley's family estate. Remember the rich kid? He's been riding out the apocalypse over martinis and classical music, the clever little shit. But when they arrive, the door's standing wide open. The house is empty. Ridley pops out of the panic room acting a little weird.
Ridley, you scared us half to death.
He admits everyone's dead, shows where they're buried,
This is where I buried them.
and then he falls over and reanimates in the laziest death to zombie transition I've ever seen. From there, it's chaos. Zombie Ridley eats the nerd. Debbie begs Jason to hide in the panic room because there's a horde approaching. Jason's like, but babe, content. He slips away for one last shot, and the zombie bites his dumb ass fucking instantly. Okay. Oh shit, he meant with the camera. Even as he dies, he's married to the game. Debbie decides to pick up the torch and finish Jason's documentary.
I'm gonna finish his movie.
A move meant to be touching, but really, it just proves she's inherited the same sick, twisted obsession that she spent the entire movie complaining about. Final thoughts. Diary of the Dead isn't completely empty. The anything for content idea? It's pretty sharp. The notion that the lens becomes more important than the life in front of it? Well, it's relevant. Jason's death should be the ultimate indictment of that mindset, but the movie undercuts itself constantly. It interrupts tension with newsreels. It swings between grim philosophy and goofy kills. It moralizes about media while obsessively documenting its own spectacle. It can't decide if it's a reboot, a continuation, or a moral lecture. And that brings us to the speeches.
Booshy, booshy, booshy.
Every few minutes, somebody pauses the collapse of civilization to deliver a heavy-handed reflection on humanity. The horror isn't allowed to speak for itself. Nothing is left to interpretation. And what you're left with isn't a bold reinvention of Romero's legacy. It's a pretentious shitfest that abandons established lore in exchange for a found footage gimmick.
There's poo in there.
And while there is an interesting idea buried here about media, ego, and modern detachment, buried is a key word. And that, my friends, is Diary of the Dead. If you had a good time tonight, like the video. Subscribe for more of my shitty opinions. And remember, if you laugh when others scream, you've found your home. This has been The Laughing Dead. I'll see you in the next one.